Hey everyone, this is Hungry Monster. I had a chance to visit Toronto and wanted to introduce you to all their authentic food. They have really authentic Asian cuisine, including Korean, Japanese, and Thai. And they have one of the best steaks in the world, certainly better than the ones in the United States. If you're bored with the food in the States, this might be a great city to fly out to. I hope you enjoy. I took the Porter airline for the first time. It's a small airline that goes directly to the city airport in Toronto, which was convenient. They had decent in-flight service, but they're a little unreliable with delays, so I would be careful. So I'm at the wrong airport. This is the city airport. I thought I was going to the international cuisine. So I had to reserve a nearby hotel last minute. I'm lucky I was able to find one. This was near downtown, the DoubleTree Hilton. This is my hotel, DoubleTree Hilton in downtown. Let's see how this place looks. First meal in Canada, Toronto. Yes, I was looking through Uber Eats and was hoping to order like some Chinese, and everything started closing at midnight, except for obviously the Korean restaurants. So this, I'll show you shortly, is the Gamjatang or the pork spine soup. So let me start opening. Soup is pretty solid. It's plenty of meat there. Try and get through these meat in the bone. The rice is actually really good. Yeah, I think they know what they're doing here. The kimchi also was very good. They made it for sure. It's a great first meal. Okay, the first day of my trip, the weather was awesome. This is late April and things were just a little chilly, not too humid. I loved it. Right next to the hotel was the famous Nene Chicken. This is already a good sign that you have a Korean franchise available right next to the hotel. Along the Dundas Street, which seemed to be the main sort of shopping and restaurant street, there were lots of Asian and Korean restaurants, so I was super excited. So my first stop for breakfast was the Egg Club. They specialize in Korean style breakfast egg sandwiches with these fluffy egg souffle pancakes. A small shop, mostly for takeout and delivery. You got different kinds of sandwiches. Today I went with the most classic egg, cheese, and bacon. You can already tell the bread looks so soft. You can see the sauce on the bread, which is the sweet garlic cream sauce. That makes it so much better. The bread was so soft. I don't know if they make it or if they bring it from somewhere. You look at the egg souffle, the melted cheese and bacon. There are a bunch of Asian college students in there. That was a very reassuring sign that I came to the right place. Sandwich made straight off of the grill. It was a great breakfast. I really enjoyed walking the streets of Canada. I thought they were mostly clean. You can see lots of remnants of the English rule. So for lunch, I came to this really famous Thai place called PAI. They had almost 10,000 reviews on Google, which I've never seen before. So the atmosphere is very lively, very hip, perfect for young people. You have a bar. Okay, I was seated at a small table in the corner. Looks like a perfect atmosphere for a bunch of college students for a date. I was debating very hard what to get. A lot of the options looked really good, but I had to go with one of the most classic dish, the shrimp padthai. It was very generously portioned with some peanuts on top. I mean, everything was perfect with this dish. The most memorable of which was the noodle. The noodle was so chewy, it doesn't just break off. I don't know how they make it, but there's some level of chewiness in the noodle. The shrimp was also very fresh and nicely grilled. The sauce was also very umami. I think they used a really special fish sauce, and it had just the right amount of spiciness. Their other dish seemed to be the pork caprao, the ground minced pork in spicy sauce with peppers and basil over rice. I really wanted to try that, but I was by myself and I had to limit myself to one dish. But if I go back to Toronto next time, I'm gonna promise myself I'm gonna try that as well. So after a great lunch at PAI, I came to Tsujiri, a Japanese matcha dessert spot. You see lots of different matcha drinks, lattes, fraps. The place was very clean. It was relatively small. They had some matcha cakes. So I got the Tsujiri signature parfait with a mix of hojicha and the matcha soft ice cream. It had some mochi, it had some chestnut over some cornflakes and anmitsu at the end. Kind of like cognac jello. This is really authentic, really pretty. Perfect dessert after a very garlicky meal. I wonder why they don't have these kind of places in the States. There seem to be a lot of these kinds of Asian spots in Toronto. This is the Rogers Center where the Blue Jays play. If I got it correctly, these seem to be a dome stadium, which means the ceiling can be covered. which was interesting. There was a really tall tower next to it, so this place looked like probably the most touristy site. There was also some railroad museum. They were just displaying old train cars. But most attractive for me was obviously this brewing company called the Steam Whistle. This place seemed to be the spot for Blue Jays fans to pregame before going to the game. So this is a perfect spot for me. They seem to specialize in pilsners. There was only one type of beer, all draft. The place was super busy, full of drunk Blue Jays fans. You can see all the Steam Whistle signature Pilsner beer. It'd be perfect, especially on a hot summer day. This bartender was very friendly. It was very well portioned. I think it's probably double the portion of what I get in the States. And also pretty cheap. I just got a little barrel table outside. Just looking at the Rogers Center, enjoying the sun. It's very crisp, very simple. The kind of beer that I really like. I'm not a real big fan of IPAs or anything too hoppy. I like just kind of your classic German style beer. Very refreshing. Very relaxing. So it's definitely not an overstatement that Canada is a country of hockey. Everyone seemed to be a hockey fan. So my dinner spot was Jacob's Steakhouse. I was so excited to be here. I actually was here about 10 years ago when I was in college. And I have this remote memory that it was awesome. And so I wanted to go to a really solid spot for dinner. And it seemed like Toronto had lots of great beef from Ontario. You can see the ambience is already pretty classy. There were a ton of really high quality wine. You can even see Sasikaya, which I'm not going to have today because it's too expensive. I was seated at the booth. The atmosphere was perfect, not too busy, pretty spacious. People were relatively quiet, mostly couples coming out for a date. Here's a wine menu, some half bottles, some glass options, and a bunch of bottle options. I had to go with a few glasses as I was by myself. This is their food menu. They had a bunch of appetizers and steak options. I went with the Canada Prime Angus from Prince Edward Island. I did not know that Prince Edward Island was so serious about raising cattle. I started out with some Caesar salad, which seemed to be one of their signature appetizers. This is funny. I just said out loud to the waiter that I wanted to try it, but he told me it was really big portioned. The couple across from my table overheard that and actually offered me a small plate, clean plate. So that kind of impressed me with their Canadian hospitality. This is their popover bread. I loved this bread. It was very soft and very airy inside, not super dense. This was some kind of garlic butter. It went perfect with the bread. The salad was really good. I don't usually eat Caesar salad outside because they can be just really creamy and just really fatty. But this was really good, had a nice amount of vinegar to it. Kind of reminded me of Houston's, which I love to go in New Jersey.
My colleague did tell me they don't have a charger.
That's fine.
I'm very
That's fine. That's fine. No problem.
I tried.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh my god, actually, can I see the cable? Because I might have it in my bag.
You know, I think I thought I brought the cable, but
Let me see which one is yours?
iPhone.
Let me check my bag.
It's
Because I have iPhone too. It's the same one, right? Let me check my bag.
Okay.
I'm having my fingers.
The other thing I loved about this restaurant was their service. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I don't really like service in the States. I think they're really fake a lot of times and they're just wanting for tip. I don't know if it was my server today, but he was really nice. He tried his best to make sure I had everything I needed, but not in a really uncomfortable manner. He was a little more down to earth than what you would expect from a fancy steakhouse like this.
Good evening, we have here salt and sauces to accompany your steak. You are aware of them?
no. If you could go through.
Absolutely. Starting with the sauce, the white for the salt from Vancouver Island. The yellow is a mustard-infused Kaplinski sea salt from Vancouver Island as well. Light brown oak smoked sea salt from Malden, England.
Okay.
Sauces, Danish blue cheese, double smoked bacon and chives. Argentinian style chimichurri with parsley and bullseye chili. And then finally, Japanese style ponzu made with fresh grilled ginger and citrus.
Thank you.
I don't know if I enjoyed all the sauce, but it's been a while since a steakhouse offered 6 different types of sauce free of charge, and each sauce obviously was made with lots of effort. Again, this just tells me how much this steakhouse cares. So this is what I got. This is the certified prime angus beef from Prince Edward Island, aka a PEI. I did not know Canada had this really strong industry for beef, and this steak was off the charts, better than almost anything I had in the United States. You see this nice fat layer in the middle. It was dry aged, so it had just the right amount of nutty, sort of dry aged fermented smell. I've had steaks that were claimed to be dry aged and they went too much with it and the smell was too much, but this one was perfect. This was their cream spinach, also very well seasoned, not too creamy as you can see, and you kind of retain the original spinach texture and smell instead of it being all mushed in cream. This is a perfect combo with some nice veggie side and a solid steak. I still remember the texture and the smell and the taste of this steak that I really didn't even need any sauce. The temperature was perfect. I asked for medium rare. I think that was a perfect medium rare. It went so well with red wine. I love enjoying steak with red wine. Yeah, so once the steak came out, I was on a roll. I just enjoyed. I finished that whole steak. It was a little full at the end, but it was definitely worth finishing. I know Toronto has a few great steakhouses. I saw some of them are good franchise. I recommend you try all of them, but in the end, I strongly recommend that you visit this place if you visit Toronto. You will really regret if you don't.
How are you enjoying, Edward?
Very good.
Yeah, you enjoying the ribeye?
Really good.
The temperature's cooked to your liking? Fantastic. And the spinach?
Very good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, all those reactions were definitely not fake. I meant every single word of them. On my way back to the hotel, I found this Japanese style fluffy cheesecake called onkotetsu, similar to the cheesecake rikuro that I had in Osaka. I brought this home to eat with my family, and indeed it was super fluffy, just the right amount of sweetness, somewhere in between a real cake and a New York style cheesecake. This was my hotel for the second night. My overall impression of food in Toronto was quite impressive. Lots of Asian cuisine. I was impressed by the egg club sandwich, the pie, pad thai, and the Angus beef at Jacob's. I strongly recommend that you come out here if you're bored of food in the States, especially if you're on the East Coast. I hope you liked my food review for the first day in Toronto. If you liked it or found it helpful, please subscribe and come back for my second day of food in Toronto.